I'm just gonna quick grab my water bottle. I swear we'll start
Okay.
after this. I can't believe that this is taking us this long to start, and I keep forgetting my stuff. Oh my gosh. Guys, this is how it normally is for us every blessed episode.
There's like probably a podcast before this podcast, so just us talking
Just
throughout
us
our day.
talking, yeah.
Yeah. It's usually like catching up and spoiling the topics we're supposed to talk about.
It's really bad.
We're just too excited.
I had to hold off on my text this morning. I was like, I won't spoil this. I'm not gonna spoil my thoughts. It's not happening.
Nope. She'll send me a text. She's like, but we're gonna save this for tonight.
Saving it for later. Don't you worry. And don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, comment, you know, all the normal stuff.
Ignore the quality of my video, okay, guys? I'm in a place I'm not usually at.
It's fine.
I am far from home.
If you want to know why, it's because there was a football game this weekend. So Julie and I went to the football game.
No, if anything she puts in there, I am a chaotic person when it comes to football games, okay? What is wrong with you?
I'm including that video for sure. Yep.
Let's just say I had seats and these people were gonna take them, and let's just say I got my seats back.
Yes.
I might have hurt some guys' feelings, but they'll live. It's in the past. So the Falcons tight end Kyle Pitts wore a life jacket during the team's outing at a water park. You know what? That's okay. Safety first.
Well, when you see the picture of the team, it's just like all these grown dudes just in the pool, and then you look over to the side. There's Kyle Pitts with his life jacket just like there.
Same.
It's like,
honestly,
oh my gosh.
And then Nick Bosa can become third player in the NFL history with at least 15 sacks in 3 of his first 6 career seasons. So that's nice.
Slay.
Slay. I was trying not to say that.
I said it for you. Don't worry.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Anyways, Wood joined J.J. Watt and Reggie White. And then Real Madrid has to pay the Palmeiras,
I think.
Palmeiras? Okay,
I don't know. It's a club in Brazil.
Okay, 35,000 euros every time Endrick scores. What's that about?
Yeah, so, you know, there was this whole thing about Real Madrid signing Endrick before he was 18. So in Brazil, legally, they can't, like, move abroad before they turn 18. Or it was something with his club. It was one of the two this club that he was playing at, that wouldn't release him until he was 18. So they put in this clause that every time he scores, they have to get paid for every time he scores as a academy product, whatever.
Interesting.
So, yeah, his whole contract is, like, so weird just because he's 18. Yeah. And on top of that, you know, Real Madrid, like, we'll get to it, but Real Madrid's attacking players this year, there's just, like, so many of them, and just a little foreshadowing of what we'll talk about a little bit with them this week.
This is the last Sunday without football until February 2025.
Yes. I'm so hyped. No idea how hype I am.
Did I read that wrong?
No. It's the last Sunday without football until 2025.
No, it sounded like wrong to me. It sounded like it should have been with football, but I didn't read the... Okay, this is the roster moves, okay, guys?
Yes.
The Patriots released Bailey, Zappy, Chiefs then signs him to practice squad. And then the Rams trade linebacker Ernest Jones to Titans. The Bills release Frank Gore Jr. Dalvin Cook signing with Cowboys. The Chiefs release
Kadarius.
maybe I shouldn't have done this. Okay, Kadarius Toney. The Steelers announces Russell Wilson is QB1. Oh, gee. The Chiefs sign running back
Samaji.
Samaji.
Samaji P. Ryan, yeah.
You rhyme. Falcons trade QB Taylor.
Hi, Nikki.
Oh my god. Chargers. And the Browns released Tyler Huntley just for Ravens to sign him to the practice squad.
So, a
Ooh.
little background for that. So, Tyler was QB3 for the Ravens, or he might have been QB2. I don't know, one of the two for the Ravens. And then they cut him, and then he signed with the Browns. But this is like an ongoing thing where like they sign, release, like whole thing because everyone's trying to get down to their 53-man roster. Plus I think it's 7 on the practice squad. So, anyways, the Ravens cut him just for the Browns to sign him, only for the Browns to release him, and now the Ravens are signing him back to their practice squad.
Lovely. That sounds like a bad circus.
Yes. Yes. Well, everyone's crazy with the roster moves. And then
Yeah.
on top of that, another thing that I didn't write down was Jaden Daniels is announced as QB1 for the Commanders. So we'll
Oh,
see how
nice.
that goes.
Yeah.
And OBJ, another thing to add to his saga. So he's going to miss the first 4 weeks of the season. Don't know why,
Oh.
but he is. And as well as AJ Dillon, he's been placed on IR due to a neck injury. So he will miss the entire season.
Again, what's in the water? Why is everyone getting injured?
And then an update for the big wide receiver contracts that we've been following for the past couple weeks. CeeDee Lamb finally signed his deal with the Cowboys. It's a 4-year deal worth $136 million. I think they said that it averages out to $34 million a year. He's the second highest paid wide receiver behind Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is getting paid $35 per year. And Brandon Ayuk finally signed his deal with the 49ers. This has been on the table since August 12th, so they have not changed their offer since August 12th. It's a 4-year deal worth $120 million, $76 million guaranteed. But now the new wide receiver, well, not new wide receiver, but the new drama is now shifting to Jamar Chase. He is still withholding, and he's been showing up to practices in street clothes and not like practice pads or anything. So, yeah, he's rumored to want more than Justin Jefferson, which I don't even know if he's that much better than Justin Jefferson. And you have to think that the Bengals also have Joe Burrow on their team.
Yeah.
So it's like, how many people are they going to be able to pay that much money
Exactly.
to? So, and that leads me to the other Dallas Cowboys drama with Dak Prescott. So, similar to CD's situation with Jerry, where Jerry's been out talking to the media, he's been doing the same thing about Dak. So Dak is not amused by the situation at all. He's like, you know what? At this point, whatever Jerry says to the media, it doesn't matter to me. And Jerry actually said, you could easily say if you haven't seen it by now, you haven't seen it. And so maybe he's not getting his big contract extension that he's thinking that he's going to get.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We kind of broke the bank for CD here, so.
Right? Like, we don't got a lot left. I mean, they probably do. It's the NFL, but.
Well, and then, so I don't know at what point in the saga this is, but Raiders running back Josh Jacobs was offered to 2 different teams, and he could have received 2 different deals. However, I only have 1 listed in my notes, so I'm gonna try and figure out what the other team was that he was offered to. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but the one was the Giants, and he could earn 4, maybe even 5 million more than what he currently does. It was a deal between 15 and 16 million dollars from the Giants.
Yeah.
But he rejected it due to New York taxes, MetLife's artificial
Yeah.
turf, and the New York media.
I don't blame him for that.
I don't blame him for not wanting to be there because of the
No.
media either, because
No.
New York media is ruthless.
Yes. Yes.
It's not good.
I do not blame him at all.
And then another, suspension for violating the personal conduct policy. Michael Thomas was suspended for 1 game, so it's unfortunate because he's a good wide receiver. And then Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel was signed to a multi-year contract extension. Now, I don't know the exact details on it, but that's a good move for Miami.
Yeah.
So, opening day for the NFL is on Thursday, which, the 2 teams that are playing are the Ravens and the Chiefs. So, Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes look to open their season against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. So, it should be a good opening night game.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we have Friday Night Lights making its either debut or return. I'm not so sure which. It's being played in Brazil. The Eagles and the Packers are going to be playing. So, this week, if you've been paying attention on social media, a lot of the Eagles players have been coming out and saying that they are worried for their safety ahead of the game. So, there's safety concerns, number 1. Number 2, the Eagles aren't even allowed to wear their green uniforms. They have to wear their black helmets and black uniforms. So,
that just sounds like a headache. Like, very frustrating. Feels like it shouldn't be necessary.
And AJ Brown was speaking to the media this past week, and he said that players were warned that they can't walk down the street with their phones on their trip to Brazil. And he's like, after hearing all that stuff, I'm probably just gonna be in my hotel room the entire time.
Yeah, that sounds awful. I would.
Yeah. Like, it's not like Germany or England.
No.
So we'll see how that goes. And I know AJ Brown isn't the only one speaking out about this. He's just the one that I found.
You know what? They need to go to Ireland.
Oh no, not after last week. And so we were supposed to make a video on this, but unfortunately we kind of got carried away.
Yeah.
But we had our own personal fantasy football draft this week. So we will show you how each week goes. We'll give you an update of our fantasy league and where we stand within it. But we'll give you a rundown of our teams and who we picked, and we'll try and do a thing each week for it.
Do we tell them our names? Our fantasy team names?
Oh yeah, we can tell them our fantasy team names. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, mine is Christian McCaffrey. Thanks to Yuki.
See, guys, she can't leave Yuki alone.
I can't. It's bad.
Mine is the Home Depot. Because of Debo Samuels. And then I didn't end up drafting him.
She was so mad. Honestly,
fine.
We were both mad throughout.
It's fine.
We might have gotten a little frustrated. I'm not a fan with some of my picks, but they're just gonna have to do.
In a 12-person league, that's all you can do.
I was the last one.
Julie's fuming. So we did a random. Okay, so I'm the league commissioner.
I feel like it was
I
random.
set it to random, And literally, it was like some person in our league, then me, and then like, so I was
All the
picked
way
2
down
and you were
here.
12. So then it was 10 people in between us, and then Julie picked. But we did a snake, so she had back to back.
I did have back. I'm thankful for that. I was just mad that I had to wait 12 when I want. There was one person that I wanted, and then my sister
Couldn't get
gets
it.
him. She doesn't even do fantasy football.
But she listens to our podcast.
Yes, she does. I'll give her that. I was just like, really? And then we had to be quiet because of Dylan. Yes, we're bringing Dylan back
Swear, Dylan only called,
so he could hear our picks,
yeah,
our
just to hear our
conversation.
picks.
And then I forgot he was on the phone, and I said one of my picks out loud, and he
And
picked
then
him.
he picked him. You mean.
It's okay. Let's move on.
So just, again, another quick rundown because I'm too lazy to recap every game. So here's just some top games to pay attention to. So AC Milan tied Lazio 2-2 in Serie A. In La Liga, here's our little foreshadowing from earlier in the episode. So rumors were flying around that there was no chemistry between Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. this past week because they were both getting frustrated and not really, they were kind of being selfish towards one another, and then when they tried to connect, it just was not clicking. However, that's been shut down because today Kylian Mbappe scored 2 goals. I just held up 4. 2 goals. 1-1. 2 goals. So he finally ends his scoring drought. But, it wasn't against a very good team in La Liga, so who knows. Barcelona looks rejuvenated. They won 7-0 this past weekend. And Atletico Madrid won 1-0 over Athletic Bilbao. So there's also that. In the Premier League, Man United looks like they're lining up a move for U.S. men's national team and Fulham right back Anthony Robinson. Fulham is rating him at around 30 million euros, so we'll see if they make a move because Man United need a replacement for Luke Shaw. However, they just lost 3-0 to Liverpool, so there's that. And then Chelsea tied with Crystal Palace 1-1, and Newcastle beat Tottenham 2-1. So just London in general, the London teams have been pretty mid this weekend because Arsenal tied Brighton 1-1. They got a late red card from Declan Rice got the red card. This was on to the Bundesliga. Where we're just gonna talk about Bayern because I'm a Bayern fan, so deal with it.
I'm starting to become one because it's the only game I watched today.
So they won 2-0 against Freiburg. However, is it our best performance? Definitely not. Could we have played better? Probably. Harry Kane scored our first goal. He converted a penalty in the first half. Then in the second half, when Thomas Muller came on, literally like a minute or two later, he scored. It was a phenomenal goal. But the first touch was phenomenal, and if you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it.
Yes.
So speaking of Thomas Muller, he becomes Bayern's sole record holder for the most appearances at Bayern with 710 appearances.
Oh, wow.
So, if that doesn't tell you how dedicated to the club he is, I don't know what will.
That's insane.
Yes.
Dedication at its finest.
Mm-hmm. And before the game, Harry Kane was honored with his Torjäger Kanone, which is the trophy for the top scorer of the Bundesliga from last season. So that was
Nice.
great.
Love that for him.
Mm-hmm. And then 8 teams in the Bundesliga this year have qualified for European competitions. That translates to roughly 44% of the entire league. So almost 50% of the Bundesliga is playing in European competition this week. Or not this week, this year. So we are not a farmers league for anyone wondering. We're not a farmers league.
Mm.
Our competition is actually good. So, the Champions League draw happened this past week. The schedule was actually finalized yesterday, so Saturday. So, I, for one, am very happy about it because Bayern got a good draw, and I'm really excited for it. And we play on my birthday, so
Oh,
that's even
nice.
better.
Nice.
We play Dynamo Zagreb as our first match day coming up here in 16 days. Then we play Aston Villa. Then we play Barcelona. Then we play Benfica. Then PSG. Then Shakhtar.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how you pronounce that club's name. And then Fener. I think that's how you pronounce that club's
Don't
name too.
I don't know.
And then we play Slovian Bratislava. So, my prediction for our Champions League is that we will get a direct thing to the knockouts.
Okay.
So we won't have to play an extra set of games. We'll just go
That'll
straight
be
through,
nice. I think
which
that's a
will
good
be very
prediction.
nice.
Yes.
It's actually, this new format is actually geared towards the better clubs, because if you qualify within the top 8, you automatically advance through. But if you get 9th or below, then you gotta play the knockouts. So my bold prediction is that we'll win 7 out of the 8 games. I'm predicting that we will lose more than likely. Well, we could go in 8-8. If I'm really opportunistic and I'm a positive Polly, I'd go 8 for 8. We're not losing. However, with the way we're playing, we're bound to lose one game.
Yeah.
So my gut's telling me that's more than likely going to be PSG. But don't quote me on that. That's all I'm
Nice.
saying. All I'm saying. The international window is coming up here to play. So there's still not been a coach announced for us. And someone on Twitter pointed out today that they haven't officially gotten Poch yet. So, did we actually sign Poch? This is what I've been saying for weeks, guys. You can look back in the other previous episodes. I am not fooled by the media. I don't think we had him. I don't think we ever had him. We need a good top coach for our team, and clearly we don't have that yet. It felt to me too easy that we were signing this guy. Like, it just came out of nowhere, kind of, and it, like, took off in the media. And everyone was all happy about it. And now it's, like, calmed down. And then they said today on Twitter something about figuring out a coach. Does that not raise any red flags for anyone? Like,
Sounds like a lot of like media miscommunication, and I feel like someone heard something and took it too far, and now everyone has their hopes up for something, or they have their hopes down, or I don't know. It just seems like a lot
yeah,
that's
it
not
could
needed.
be due in part because they did hire a new, like, marketing director
Probably.
after the firing of Greg Berhalter. But I don't, it's just, something's rubbing me the wrong way, and I just have yet to figure out what it is. We'll move on to the actual roster. So everyone that was expected to be called up pretty much has been, besides Weston McKennie and Anthony Robinson. So they're getting a break. I think it's good for Robinson to get a bit of a break because, he's getting older. He's
Yeah.
not getting any younger, let's put it that way.
No.
But I think he could use the break. Weston McKennie is the shocker here. I'm not so sure why he hasn't been called up. Could be because of his contract saga with Juventus, but they announced a new deal this past week, I'm pretty sure. So,
Interesting.
great, love and life, but whatever. So yeah, we'll see how we do in this international window with no technical head coach. We're just having
Hopefully
I think it's our U21.
hopefully all good things.
Hoping for 2 wins. Because
Yes.
I think we're playing 2 games. We're playing Canada, and I don't know what the other one is. I know we're playing Canada for one. But yeah.
Not Canada. I
Oh
think
my
I was
gosh.
stressed the whole time. Like, I'm happy, like, as a person who's happy for everyone, I'm happy for Charles. Like, he earned it. But also, as a McLaren fan, I'm so frustrated right now.
Listen, all I'm saying is that there's a reason I'm not wearing my McLaren shirt right now.
We love McLaren, but what happened today was just like it could have been avoided. We could have had better strategies. I don't know what happened. We were hoping for a win today so we can move up in points. And did we? I mean, we got points, but they
We
weren't
got
enough.
closer, yeah. Had we finished the way that we started,
Yes.
McLaren would have jumped in the constructor
Yeah.
standings, and it would have been 448 to 447. But that didn't happen.
Which, like, a lot of things happened today. Like, first of all, penalties, and
Oh my
then
gosh.
just bad strategy. Like, even like Red
It
Bull,
was
like
all
what was
over the grid.
it
It
was
just, yeah.
bad.
I don't think anyone really had a clean race, if I'm
No.
being honest.
Like, even Charles had like a rough part during the race,
Yes,
and was it
because
during
he
his
got
like pit stop?
undercut.
Oh, he
Yeah,
got undercut.
it wasn't clean for anyone, let's be real.
No, no.
Um,
Everyone had a rough day. Yuki
yeah.
getting bumped out. I felt so bad for him. I love Yuki, okay, guys? You guys know this. And I just felt bad for him. I am a very empathetic person. I show empathy for everyone, not Stroll.
Going to say it plainly with every fiber in my being. I hate you.
Wow, the way that it just went. So let's just talk about the start a little bit here.
Yeah,
So the
the start.
start, Lando finally got a good start.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to fault him there. He
No.
gets it, he goes to turn 1, he's clearly in the lead there. It looked a little bit shaky, but he was clearly in the lead. Coming down into the next turn, loses out to Oscar.
Like, you want to be happy for him, but at this time, like, Lando needs to be winning races. Like, at the I don't know.
So here's the thing. So you know how we said earlier that McLaren were going to sit down and choose a driver who they're going to favor?
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
don't think that's happened.
No.
So we gotta get that figured out first
Which
off.
is bad strategy. Like, you're just like
Well, clearly it should be Lando just based
Mhm.
on the points to Max.
Yeah.
But remember, we did that math about Max if Max finishes third. But that was
Yeah.
at that point. Has he finished in third yet? No, right? He's only
I don't think
finished
so.
second.
He's gotten second, and then he's
Second
just kind
because when
of
Lando
like
got his second win. How I think that's changing, and I genuinely think that I've seen so much stuff about how the RB20 is not performing well.
yeah,
So
because
now
he
at this
was
point
mad
they're
today.
backtracking because all of the
Yeah,
upgrades are making it worse.
it's
If
bad.
you've seen his onboarding for free practice and quali, the car was not turning at all.
No. One of the races he was just driving slow, and even like the announcers were like, "Is he driving slow? He's driving slow. Like, he needs to pit. What's going on?" And we're like, you could tell Max was mad. I think this was
Yeah.
FP2 because it was the day I left, and I don't know. It's just the past couple races, you can see a lot of mistakes happening with a lot of the teams, and I want to know what's happening. Like, everyone was having a rough time. Like, it's just a rough
It was rough
weekend.
all around,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then poor K-Mag. Like,
Well, before we get to that, we need to talk about the Team Papaya rules.
oh, I was like, I didn't know what to say when I saw that, but I was like,
What exactly is Papaya rules? Pray tell.
right? Right? like, what's the strategy with that? Why are we like? Even the announcers were like, "What? What does that mean? Like, what are we?"
So apparently, it means just don't crash. So they're allowed to race, just don't crash. And this goes back to choosing a driver. They need to choose one at this
Yes.
point. Like, it's not fair to either of them.
No.
And Oscar, like, yes, Oscar's a team player, whatever.
Yes.
But if he has the opportunity to win, he's gonna take it. Like,
Yeah. He's
it's common sense, guys.
yeah, he said it in interviews too. He's like, "Yes, he's my teammate, but I also want to win." Like,
Yeah. And I see the value in letting them duke it out
mhm.
themselves, but at the same time, you don't want to be losing points to
No.
Max. So, on to K-Mag and his penalty that he's receiving here. But, so K-Mag has reached the 12 penalty points allowed. So, he's suspended for this
Yeah.
next weekend. So, Haas
Long
is
vacation.
going to confirm whether or not Ollie's driving for them next weekend or not. If it's not Ollie, who would it be?
That's a good question. I actually don't know. Because
I
if it
don't
isn't
know
Ollie,
either.
who is it? Because
Yeah,
Kimmy's
because
been signed to Mercedes, and
but Ollie's the reserve driver for
yeah,
Haas,
so
but Ferrari has to okay it.
yeah,
So
I guess we'll find out.
I see no reason why he wouldn't drive for Haas
Mm,
next week, but I guess we'll find out whether he actually does or not. Sure. So really, there's been not many changes to the actual standings.
no.
So we'll just do the top 5 just to keep it short and sweet this week. So for drivers standings, we have Max at 303, Lando at 241, Charles at 217, Oscar at 197, and Carlos rounding out the top 5 at 184. And then in the constructors, we have Red Bull with 446, McLaren with 438, Ferrari with 407, Mercedes with 292, and Aston Martin with 74. So yeah. Oh yeah, Kimmy got signed with Mercedes this week. So realistically, the only 2 seats still open are with RB and Sauber. But people are saying that Gabriel Bortoleto from F2 is going to get signed with Sauber, and Fernando Alonso is kind of backing that move. So,
On another note, all good things said for Kimmy though.
Oh my gosh, I just realized.
What?
I just realized what we have yet to say. So
What? Oh no.
First off,
Yeah.
I think
It hurts to talk about it.
like the Red Flags podcast,
Mhm.
we need to give a moment of silence here.
So sad.
Logan Sargent
We're gonna
was
miss you.
dropped by Williams.
I didn't know how to respond when I saw this because one, I was with my grandma and I had to not burst out in tears in front of my grandma, but I also didn't have, let's just say I was really mad. I was like, I don't know what to say to this because like I knew it was coming, but I didn't know it was gonna be so soon and so like such a drastic drop. And honestly, if I could, and I wish I would, I want to be in the room where it happened.
Guys, the amount of things that Julie sends me about wanting to be there and like knowing, like getting the full context, like you have no idea how much she sends me about.
If I had the chance, I would be an investigative journalist. And let me tell you, I don't care what JV says. I'm gonna find out. He's ugh.
Now, I will say, I do personally believe that there's more than what they're letting on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So,
Definitely. I mean, have you seen like even Alex was like, I'm not gonna open that can of
Alex was
worms.
not happy in any
No.
of their
And
videos or
the
anything.
apologies too, like in like the I miss you and like those kind of announcements, like Williams sucked. It was just short and simple and
They
just
didn't
kind
even
of
really give him a thank you.
no.
Let's be real.
Alex's was
Again,
great. Honestly,
Duracell
F1
gave
had
a
a
better
great
thank you than
yeah.
Williams did.
F1 did one too, and they were just like, farewell.
Way
But like,
better than Williams.
yeah. And then can we just talk about their new driver? And like, I feel bad for him because he is like under fire for all this like situation, but also in the same time, he's done about the same as Logan would have done. Like, let's be real here. Like, I was like, maybe he's better, but then when I watched the first couple races, I was like, no, it's another F2 driver pulled up too quickly, and is gonna probably slowly not die. I don't mean die, but he's gonna slowly drown in this like new world of driving.
Here's the one kicker for this. So I saw once again on Twitter, because I'm chronically online.
Oh, is this the one you sent me the other day? Last night?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I saw that in 2020,
Yeah.
Logan was in talks to become a development driver with Mercedes. But guess who was in charge of that back then? None other than JV. So he went to Williams.
And then
JV went to Williams.
but can we talk about the Williams team captain before he left Williams and how he was like,
don't pressure him.
don't pressure
He'll
him.
get results if you give
Yeah.
him time.
Yeah.
Like, he knew Logan needed the time to adapt and everything.
And JV was like, no.
And you can't just expect results. Like, I think the one thing that Mercedes did this weekend, they just sent Kimi out on soft tires. Well, they did it against Lewis to show that Kimi's like the next Lewis, whatever.
Mhm.
He'll be as good as Lewis was to the sponsors.
Yeah.
So is Williams trying to do that with Franco? No, because
No.
Carlos is in the seat next year. It doesn't even make sense. While we're on this topic, we'll make some quick predictions for next week's podium. Do I want to gamble here? My podium, in no particular order, will be Mercedes, McLaren, Ferrari. Choosing a driver for each? I'm refusing to choose a driver
Yeah.
for McLaren because I cannot handle this BS.
Mm-mm.
So, George and Carlos. I think Carlos has been a little bit of a sleeper, and he's just waiting to pounce on the podium.
Yeah. Mine's the same with her on, like, I already know it's Mercedes, probably Ferrari, and then definitely a McLaren. Don't ask me to pick on that side because I generally, like, that's a whole mess in itself. But probably George, because he still wants to get that podium. I know he wants to get a podium. Like, who doesn't? But I know he wants to make up for the one he lost. And he just had a bad race today. And then I want Carlos because I love Carlos, but I don't. Lately it's been Charles, but I'm gonna say Carlos just because I want him to get a podium again. But I'm not picking a McLaren. Don't ask me to.
Not doing that this week. I just
can't handle
can't
the
after the
problem.
torture.
Okay, let's end it. Oh wait, we gotta do the last part. Never mind.
Alright guys, thanks for watching this week's episode. Don't forget to leave a like, comment down below what your favorite part of the episode was. Also subscribe to our channel.
Please subscribe.